What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at material elements. So what are material elements? Material elements are parts of the same mesh that are separated out into separate materials. So if we, for example, click this wall here that I've made, I've got the wall, the frame, and the glass. They all are the same mesh, but, or at least a combined mesh, but they have separate material elements. So I'm able to basically throw in what I want for the materials. That's going to look weird with the earth, but bam. So I have control over controlling all three of them. And now some people may ask, what benefits this? You've got a couple of different ones. If you're using mostly materials, where they're like tiling textures, is quite useful because you can tile them as much as you want and throw them onto the parts you need them to be. So if you've got like wood, concrete, I think I've got concrete. Oh, there you go, concrete. It gives you the ability to use those and tile them across the surface as much as you want. However, another reason why I like to separate stuff like this out is because I always separate out transparency parts of my object. The reason for this is because transparency, when it's set to opaque, it always looks a bit weird. So if you had a part of a mesh and a part of it was complete opaque, it was like somebody's skin, for example. We've got a character in here. We've got complete opaque areas, and he is separated out into a lot of material elements, so I have that control. The glass on him is a separate material. So the reason for that is because if you have a part of it, and let's say I had him on all one material, if I was to set that material to be transparent, but then set transparency to the value of, or opaqueness to the value of 1 on certain areas, again, like skin and stuff, it would look more like this. This object here, despite being completely opaque at the value of 1, it looks really weird. If I were to take off and set it to just opaque now, and we go back to it, it looks pretty normal. So even if you don't like separating things out, I would always recommend using material elements when you're putting glass on something, even if the character's wearing glasses, because it will cause weird effects if you try to combine your glass materials with your opaque materials. So how do you set up material elements? Now, this is dependent on the actual 3D modeling software you're using. So I use Blender, and I know Maya is very similar with this. If you have an object, all you got to do, so this has one material on it right now. It just has a gray basic material that Blender will bring into the engine, and it will apply one material element. Let's say I wanted these two faces to be another material and these two faces to be another material. If we add a material, so again, in 3ds Max, in Maya, in whatever software you're using, you should be able to assign materials to certain faces. So you select the faces you want to assign a new material to, and we're actually going to select our material that I created, go down to viewport display, and just set it to an obscure color just so I can see it's applied across the entire mesh. Now if we go into edit mode, select the faces I want, click plus here, and then we assign that new material. You can see I've assigned that material to new areas. We scroll down. I want to change the viewport color again, and we can select two other sides. So set these sides, another material, new, assign. We'll change that color again. And as you can see, that's not that much different of a color. As you can see, we've got our sort of green, our red, and our blue. So those areas now have a different material assigned. So now, when we go to import this into Engine, so if we go cube elements, I don't know why I wrote it on all capitals, but whatever. So let's throw that in. We'll create a quick folder. Content. We'll go material series, and we'll go new folder, and we'll just call it material. Oh, I've already got one called material elements right there. And we throw our mesh in. So I'm dragging it in from the other monitor, just dropping it in. You can just import from there and select it. And we're just going to click import. You can make it so it doesn't import the materials you've got set to it. So I actually don't want it to get those materials. So if we go to... There we go. If we go to do not create material and click import, we'll just get the mesh in. So throw that mesh in, and as you can see, if you click on the mesh and you scroll down, you'll get 3 separate material elements. Put that over here so it's nice on the platform. So now, let's go click on something over there, go into the folder of that. We can now drag and drop, so you can either click on it and drag it into the actual element slots, like this. Or you could just drag it onto it. You don't need to do any of the actual clicking the elements. And there we go. We have 3 separate material elements on this mesh. And again, a really good reason to do it is for the transparency. If nothing else, always do it when you've got something that needs to be transparent on your mesh. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this helps people out in the future, and I'll catch you next time.